I purchased our ideal home with my own funds, but my partner insisted on half ownership. Without contributing, I acquired our perfect home using my personal savings, but my partner demanded co-ownership without paying a cent. When I declined to include her on the title, she involved a lawyer and her family. Hello, social media readers. Here's my story. My name is Ethan Ward, I'm 35, and I've spent the past 10 years climbing the corporate tech ladder. From junior coder to lead project manager, I've endured sleepless nights, 80-hour work weeks, and countless side hustles. It was worth it. I saved nearly $95,000 and maintained an excellent credit rating. I wasn't wealthy, but I was content with my achievements. Then there's Mia, my partner. She's 32, works in public relations, and is clever, caring, and witty when she chooses. We've been a couple for 4 years. About 3 years ago, we moved into a tiny studio apartment in the city. Fading paint, a faulty radiator, and a neighbor who chain-smoked. But we managed. We split all expenses equally, despite my higher income. I never made an issue of it, believing that's what a supportive partner does. Last year, rent surged again, prompting us to consider buying. I'd been saving for it, but now it felt like a joint goal. Weekends were spent visiting open houses, saving listings, and imagining countertops and flower gardens. For a time, it seemed we were creating something meaningful together. Then came the loan discussion. I consulted a lender for pre-approval. A loan, I qualified for up to $550,000. But if Mia and I applied together, that dropped to $360,000 due to her credit card debt and average credit score. The gap wasn't just monetary, it meant a better area, a safer one, with room for a study. When I explained this to Mia, she was disappointed, but agreed I should apply solo for practical reasons. We found a stunning $450,000 two-story in a peaceful suburb. Spacious yard, glassed-in porch, dream kitchen. I paid the $80,000 down payment, almost my entire savings, and all closing fees. Mia covered the moving van and some decor. She was involved in every choice, except the one that mattered legally. Then came signing day. As I finalized the documents, Mia asked lightly, "So, when will my name go on the title?" I paused. We'd discussed this before. I reminded her the house was solely in my name because her credit didn't qualify and she hadn't contributed to the deposit. Ownership, I clarified, wasn't something you handed over just because you were in a relationship. It wasn't about affection, it was about financial responsibility. She fell silent, but the tension was brewing. Weeks later, she began itemizing every expense. $25.43 for groceries, $12.75 for shared paper towels. Our partnership turned into a ledger. Then came the bombshell. She wanted to pay toward the mortgage to gain equity. I explained that wasn't how it worked. The mortgage and its risks were mine alone. If we split, I'd still owe every penny, while she could leave without obligation. Why would I give away half my home to someone who faced no liability? That's when she erupted. She accused me of treating her like a renter, not a partner. She said I made her feel replaceable, as if the house gave me an excuse to walk away. I tried to clarify it wasn't about that. It was about safeguarding what I'd worked for. Still, she felt deceived. Then she mentioned her parents. They were ready to give her $55,000 to buy in and get her name on the title. I refused outright. "That's not how it works," I said. I wasn't open to backdated contributions. More crucially, I didn't want financial ties to her family. What if we parted ways? Would I owe them? Would they influence our decisions about the property? I didn't want those complications. She called me domineering, said I didn't truly care for her. If I did, I'd share what I'd earned. But here's the twist. Last week, she admitted she'd already consulted a lawyer, not just for advice, but to explore legal ways to claim ownership. The lawyer said she had no case, since we weren't married. But if she contributed to the mortgage with a written contract, she might build a future claim to equity. She'd been scheming for months. When I confronted her, she claimed she only wanted to understand her rights. But really, who hires a lawyer without intent? She even revealed her parents were willing to finance a legal fight if she chose to pursue ownership. That's when I lost it. I told her this was precisely why I kept her off the title. She wasn't behaving like a partner. She was gearing up for a courtroom battle. This wasn't about love anymore. It was about entitlement and coercion. She left in a huff and stayed with her sister. It's been a week. This morning, she messaged me, saying she wants to resolve things but still demands a formal equity agreement. I shut it down. The trust is shattered. If she wants her name on a property, she can save, improve her credit, and buy one herself. I won't be pressured into giving away half of what I earned to ease her insecurities. I'm unsure what's next. Part of me still cares for her, or maybe the person I believed she was, but part of me feels I narrowly escaped. If I'd been added her to the title when she first asked, I'd be in a legal chaos now. Her true intentions showed not when I said no, but when she tried to force a yes. Sometimes love doesn't mean shared ownership. Sometimes it means protecting what you've earned, even from those you thought would never try to take it. The first night after Mia left, the quiet was overwhelming. You spend years with someone's presence in your home. You grow used to their laughter in the next room, the scent of their perfume in the hallway, the clatter of delivery bags, and movie night debates. Suddenly, the stillness feels less like calm and more like a void. I wandered the house that night, the home I'd purchased. Every fixture, every wall, every trim reminded me of choices we'd made together. Yet it all seemed like a deception. Because while I was envisioning a future, she was plotting leverage. There were hints I overlooked, like how she avoided marriage discussions, but fixated on our dream home. Or how she'd say, "When this is our place, not your place," even before any contracts were signed. It wasn't just optimistic chatter, it was calculated. And now, I couldn't unhear the sentence that echoed since her departure. "My parents are prepared to fund a lawyer." She said it without blinking. The woman I loved, who once teared up when I repaired her wobbly chair, who brewed tea when I was sick, was now discussing legal warfare like it was another bill. She texted again, "Can we meet this weekend?" I agreed to Saturday evening. I spent the morning prepping not just the house, but myself. I gathered every document, my loan papers, the title records, the bank transfers. I wanted to be prepared for any challenge. But when she arrived, she wasn't the bold, quick-witted Mia I knew. She looked drained, diminished. She lingered at the doorstep, unsure if she belonged. "I'm not here to argue," she said. I let her inside. We sat across from each other in the den, on the same sofa where we'd bickered, laughed, assembled furniture. She inhaled deeply. "I shouldn't have consulted a lawyer behind your back. That was a mistake." I stayed quiet. I didn't nod. I didn't absolve her. I just listened. "I panicked," she went on. "I saw you making major choices without me." I spoke up. "Then why not talk to me?" She confessed she didn't trust herself. I thought securing equity would make our relationship feel stable. I replied, my tone sharper than planned. "That's not how trust is built?" She looked up, eyes glassy. "I know. I screwed up." She admitted her actions were manipulative. Then she dropped a bombshell. "My father wants me to sue you." I blinked. "You're not going to sue me, are you?" She shook her head quickly. "No, I refused." I didn't laugh out loud. But that was the final nail. She stayed another hour. I realized we talked like people closing a chapter we'd both knew was ending for months. I didn't shout. She didn't weep. It was calm, weary, raw. She took some clothes, a vase she loved, and her blender. She said she'd return for the rest later. I said I'd pack her things and leave them by the entrance. The next day, I contacted a lawyer. Not to sue Mia, but to shield myself. He drafted a notice barring future claims, should she argue implied ownership. I emailed her politely, asking her to sign it when collecting her belongings. She never replied. 2 months later, Mia moved into a studio near her workplace. A friend said her parents covered the deposit. No shock there. For me, I've been learning to cherish my home solo. The emptiness in the rooms doesn't hurt as much now. I set up a study, something I hadn't done while she was here, as she wanted the area kept uncluttered. I also crafted a small shelf, the one I'd once repaired for her. Now it's mine. Sometimes I sit in the yard with a drink and exhale. Not because I'm toasting the end of a romance, but because I survived one that could have become a financial and emotional catastrophe. The truth is, love shouldn't demand ultimatums. And no one, no partner, no family, no lawyer, has the right to claim what they didn't build just because they were present while you did. Do I miss Mia? At times. But I miss who she thought I was more than the person who stood before me with legal threats and demands. She said she sought stability. I offered a home, a vision. She wanted a title. I wanted trust. She arrived with love, but left with intentions. And now, I sit in my home, a house I earned, defended, fought for, and I feel something I hadn't in months.